Well, today's producers are very focused on precision management, and genetics is part of that. And it's our objective at Select Sires is to make sure we provide all the great genetics plus the tools to utilize those genetics to the best of their ability. So today's industry, where herds are getting larger, data is getting to be a critical part of the success story, and putting all those ingredients into one for individualized breeding takes a specialized program and specially trained people to make it all happen. The Select Mating Service started more than 50 years ago, about 1974, when we needed some way to evaluate type traits and allow that information to translate into breeding programs.
I think the goal was to help the dairymen figure out how to use the semen on the right cows and come up with a system. So for the Select Mating Service, the main goal was to help the farmers utilize the genetics that were available on farm to make better cows.
SMS was originally conceived as linear type evaluations came on the scene, and that was just physical descriptions of different aspects of what an animal looks like. And because a lot of those traits correlate with one another, this was the way to break those traits down into individualized scores, and then we would put strengths on weaknesses of the two parents to get better progeny on the backside.
And this was something big, not because of me, it was big. And so, you know, it didn't happen overnight.
Ron Long, without question, I look at as my second father. He's the father of the SMS program, so he still is the person that I look up to get me started down the path and the SMS program.
Ron was a Holstein classifier, so he traveled the United States classifying dairy cows for farmers. Ron's scope is to design something where we could pick out the weaknesses and then match them up with the bull or bulls that had strengths from our knowledge of their offspring. We went out on dairies and we would evaluate every milking female, but it was strictly hand evaluations with a pencil and pad.
As that evolved over time and more data became involved, we realized it's going to take more than just skilled people, and a computerized SMS program helped again take the people aspect that we haven't left and utilize science on top of it to get the combination of the two for the most success.
Paul Butler was the SMS guru.
Paul was a special guy because he was really the computer expert. If there's something that had to be fixed that didn't make sense, we didn't have anybody on staff that could figure that out.
Paul was committed to the service and the people part of the SMS program. He just wasn't a computer programmer.
Without the program going to a computer, we could have never survived because the herd size was growing, the demand for the program was growing. But when we went computerized, we could now multiply the number of cows we do in a week greatly to make it more efficient.
Overseas, it became apparent that there was a need for a mating program to help with genetic diversity, to help with managing recessives, but also to help to manage on farm the genetics that were coming. There was a hodgepodge of what herds might look like and what genetics was considered, and this program changed the process to really focusing on making genetic progress. So for many years, WMS had used the traditional methodology of doing the linear scoring. With the onset of genomics, there was a new opportunity to transition.
The mating system had to be refined substantially when genomics came on the scene, basically because we had more data points.
And that was probably the biggest influx of data relating to our groups of cows, our species, our breeds, whatever that we've had. And so genomic information coming on board in 2009 was a huge game changer.
We're not just looking at the phenotype or the outside characteristics of an animal. We're actually looking at the DNA makeup on the inside of the animal and incorporating all that knowledge into a more sophisticated program at the end. It still takes good cow sense to fully understand where we can go, but then you have to have an understanding of the science as well to really amplify all the applications SMS provides.
Select Sires was a company that jumped on genomics early and started taking advantage of it right away. I think that's helped set us up for the success that we've seen over the last 10 years and now going into the future.
And with today's critical mass of data and large herd environments, you need a fairly sophisticated program to put all those pieces of the puzzle into a simplified approach.
My hope for the future of SMS is that we can continue to support our members around the world in their pursuit of building better cows.